welcome to Camp Re-Education, the world's first beta cuck podcast reminding you to always eat the poor. I'm Shaye, and as always, we have our resident prison inmate for hire, Ian Rowe. And today's guests, we have Gagan, who oversees the distribution of crack cocaine for the CIA, and Lauren, a server for the DNC's underground satanic pedophile pizza palace in beautiful Bethesda, Maryland. Thank you all for joining us today. Let's jump right in. First question, fuck, marry, kill, Hitler, Mussolini, and Fred Durst. Lauren, you first.
Oh my God.
Oh man, marry Fred Durst for real. Fuck Mussolini, kill Hitler.
All right,
easy.
Pretty
easy.
Pretty straightforward. All right, Gagan. Gagan, what do you got?
You have to kill Hitler because that's the thing you do. Fred Durst sounds like a really pretty name, so probably marry him. And then the other thing to the other
from
guy.
Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
The road from here.
All right, Ian.
Much to everyone's surprise, I marry Hitler. I change him through love. Okay, we transform Germany for the better. I fuck Mussolini. I fuck the fascism right out of Mussolini. Okay, I dick him down good, and then I kill Fred Durst because he's too dangerous to be left alive.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. And I guess to take the floor myself, I was going in a similar direction. I was thinking I would fuck Hitler just because I imagine he does some really fucked up shit in the bedroom, which, who wants to miss out? Opportunity of a lifetime there. And then,
Jesus Christ.
And I guess a combo of kill, marry, Fred Durst, Mussolini. I don't know. We'll figure something out later.
What do you mean? I don't understand what that means. A combo of
I'm thinking like a polygamist marriage murder.
Oh, okay.
I want to marry both of them. And then murder them at like a Thanksgiving thing in South Florida.
I'm thinking of
Hitler was like an artist.
Very specific.
You could start with a nude drawing of each other as foreplay.
I'm thinking of like what's that movie where like the man falls in love with the woman and then like she convinces him to kill her husband and she's like I only know the parody version of it where Kim Basinger convinces the guy from Wayne's World, like Garth from Wayne's World, to do it.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
no fucking clue. Think it on your own, man.
I don't know. I'm
Is it Wayne's World?
That's the parody one, but it's based on like a real movie, like a 90s, like a classic 90s thriller. I think maybe also starring Kim Basinger and like, not Buster Keaton. He's the black and white one. Not Douglas Anderson. Kirk Douglas, Keith Douglas. I don't know.
I have no idea, man. No fucking clue where you're at with this one.
Blowing past this, let's go ahead and get started, all right? Gagan, Lauren, you guys got opinions. We want to hear them. Other people don't, but fuck them. This isn't about them. This is about us, okay? So our first story for the day and the first question that we have to pose for you is, it's no secret that the guy whose name I forgot, well, let's try that again. It's no secret that Kanye West is not happy that his former wife is fucking Pete Davidson, as has half the planet. In an attempt to get back at Pete, Kanye has started spreading rumors that Pete Davidson has AIDS. So my question for you guys is this really the best that Kanye can do? What could be a more damaging rumor that you could spread about Pete Davidson that could actually harm his career and not make him seem even cooler?
I'm not sure who that serves telling the world that he has AIDS, because I mean they've hooked up already, right? So I don't
Pete
see.
and Kanye,
it's not like Kim's gonna hear that and be like, oh no, I didn't know, and then break up with him or something, Yeah,
and there's some backstory I think I need. Is it Kim Kardashian? Is that who Pete Davidson's having sex with? I actually don't know anything about this story. I'll be totally honest.
Well, Shaye, I'm happy to inform you that yes, it is in fact Kim Kardashian that Pete Davidson is plugging. Oh God, I do not like plugging
like
Pete.
In what fucking universe does Pete Davidson get to have sex with Kim Kardashian?
This one, literally this one. This is hypothetical.
What the fuck is that?
Another level. They met on SNL, so she like guest hosted an episode of SNL. And
I remember that.
And so I remember they were the story came out that they were dating after she was there, but you're there for like almost a full week every single day with the actors and the writers. So it's like almost a trauma bond in a way.
Think, I think she saw him scaring crows away in a field and was like, I really like this guy's work. Like, I love his style. So I guess my question is like, I mean, you know, Kanye's having do we give him an A for effort? Like, I know it's not the best, but I mean, he's having a pretty rough go. Like,
I feel like that's the immature thing to accuse. It's like, if you don't know that there's like medical stuff so much out there that it's like you could still have sex and be fine and not spreading any.
What if he actually did have AIDS?
You know, like
what if he actually does have AIDS?
He's kind of like outed him.
Yeah, I mean, like, what if this is like a boy who cried wolf situation? Like, what if this is a thing that Kanye is right about and like, you know, no one's taking him seriously?
Was this before or after he made the song where he said he was gonna beat him up?
I think after the track didn't work, didn't have the
beat him up threat was not enough. He had to add AIDS on top of it.
Yeah.
Wait, did Kanye release a song threatening Pete Davidson too?
Yeah, he said something about beating his ass. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he said the line is. I mean, Gagan, do you know the line?
I think it was, and I'll beat Pete Davidson's ass, and ass rhymed with something in the previous line. I forget.
He said, "God save me from the crash, so I could beat Pete Davidson's ass." I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he like, I don't know which crash? Is he talking about like the Kobe?
Probably the famous one that that he had to wire his jaw shut.
The beginning of his career.
I thought he was alluding to Kobe Bryant's helicopter crash, and I was like, was he supposed to be on that with him or something? Or
I would have imagined he was alluding to his professional career as a musician, but I guess it's more literal than that.
No, he definitely had a car crash back in the day, and that's when he had to have his jaw wired shut. And then I think he like left the hospital immediately after the surgery, and then recorded a song called like On the Wire or After the Wire, something like that.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you guys. We, in the spirit of the program, we do have some news sources, but I'll be completely honest with you. Everything that I found was, to put it bluntly, really fucking stupid. So I don't even think that like getting new information is going to change anybody's opinion on this. Like, I mean, basically the news story says that pretty much everything I already said. Kanye is, quote one friend, our info comes from DJ Academic's comments on Twitch earlier this, God, we are just really floundering as a culture. Earlier this week, in which he claimed West is going crazy with himself. A word I'm not allowed to say told me, this is real talk. Kanye has been telling everyone within earshot of himself, he's trying to spread a rumor that Pete Davidson has AIDS. I'm telling you, this is a fact. I've heard it from 8 people. He's telling everybody. Then DJ added, I'm telling you, this is a fact. Bruh, if you got to spread a rumor that, a word I'm not allowed to say, fucking your wife got AIDS, you burn out, bro. Wrap it up. It's over.
What is it that he's telling people is the fact, or that Pete has AIDS is the fact?
I think the fact is, I don't think the news article could figure it out either. They're like here's the information we have. Make of it what you will. I think it's a fact that he's been telling people. Like Kanye's like, I never said that, and then everyone's like, no, it's a fact. Kanye's saying,
what does he stand to gain? You know, like
I think he's trying to get his kids back. I think this is like the worst Eddie Murphy movie ever. From the
better ways. There's probably better ways to do that. You know, I feel like AIDS is at least option 3. There's probably 1 or 2 options before that.
Honestly, the shock for me is still that he like has managed to have sex with Ariana Grande and Kim Kardashian at this point. Is she still Kim Kardashian West? Is that still a thing? Alon, I feel like you would know that.
I feel like I don't see her with the West anymore. Not in her name.
Yeah. My wife was also like really curious about how Pete Davidson was doing it, and she took to the internet hard and found out that apparently Pete Davidson has a huge cock. And she told me that kind of in like an accusatory tone, you know, like the way she kind of like directed at me, like it was my fault. And I'm like,
well, Pete Davidson has a huge cock, Ian.
That's exactly how she said it.
And I've been seeing these ads with these simple, weird tricks that you could do to make your penis grow 10 times.
Have you tried tying the tip of it to a door handle and then slamming it really fast?
I've always heard the longer you keep someone laughing, the longer they have their eyes closed. So, you know, he is a comedian.
That's savage.
I thought you were going to say the longer you have your eyes closed when you laugh, the longer your cock gets. And I was about to be over here like,
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Little A, little B, you know?
Okay. All right. Well, I think we...
That's enough of Kanye and Pete.
Yeah, fuck Kanye. Fuck Pete Davidson. I don't give a shit about either of these guys.
Fuck this story we don't actually care about. Let's move on.
And I'm not jealous about either of their fame, fortune, or apparently massive cocks either. So we can
Wait, I have a new question really quick before we move on. Who do you think has a bigger penis, Kanye or Pete Davidson?
Ooh, that's the question.
I'm gonna have to guess it's Pete Davidson. Like, he is not rich or good looking. So like, yeah, like what else has he got going for?
That has to be the only thing then that keeps him coming back. He doesn't have anything else.
Ian, what do you think?
I think it's a tie. I think they both have dynamite cocks, but I think Kanye's like ever debilitating mental state makes it really hard to stick around for the good dick. You know, I think good dick has its limits.
I think you just want to imagine Pete Davidson and Kanye's dick like holding dick hands, like very harmoniously.
You're not. I'm just picturing
the yin yang of dicks.
I'm just picturing making love to Kanye West, and he said, like, you're like having a good time, and all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, you like that bitch? I'm an astronaut," and you're like, "Whoa, dude, what?"
All right. In other news this week. As some of you may know, Joni Mitchell is following Neil Young's lead by also removing her music from Spotify due to the misinformation about vaccines that is propagated by our hometown favorite here at Camp Free Education, Joe Rogan, who is famously exclusively on Spotify.
A hero to both of us.
And so the question here for you guys is just hearing that headline. Do we, after just hearing that headline, do we think that old rich boomer musicians are the heroes we need but don't want to help save us from Joe Rogan's steroid-induced ramblings?
You know, I saw a headline about this morning. I didn't read into it, but I saw some people were leaving Spotify, and I don't know who those people are. I do know who Joe Rogan is, but I mean, I don't know, you know?
All right, so would you leave Spotify, either of you, now that Neil Young... Actually, I think Neil Young even deleted his original statement saying that he was going to leave Spotify. I don't know if that still means that he's planning on it, not planning on it. But
I think Spotify already removed his music.
They're like, yeah, sure. Get the fuck out of here. Neil who? I'm sorry. I was thinking of Young Lee.
The audience knows Spotify.
I like the idea that like a young Spotify exec looked up his picture and they're like, Neil Young, man, they should call this guy Neil Old. Am I right?
Boo. Boo. Yeah, I don't know. Would you guys delete Spotify because Neil Young or Joni Mitchell isn't on there?
Nope.
I've tried to leave Spotify. I've tried, and I went to Apple Music, and it did not last. I had to go back. So even if I wanted to, apparently I can't. So
you're like a diehard Apple fanboy, right? You got like all the Apple swag, right?
Yeah, I mean, my literal career is based on Apple. So so I tried to do Apple Music, but I couldn't. I had to go back to Spotify. That's where all my friends are. That's where I learn about new music, and their playlists are better. And apparently now they won't have these two artists. So maybe the Apple load faster.
Yeah, you have to go back to Apple now. I think Apple actually came out and said, they tweeted on Thursday, they're like, we are now the home of Neil Young. As if that's like an advantage, really? Like, oh, cool. So was 1990s airwaves, and see how well that did? So.
You have like the discount CD rack at the local store. Yeah.
You have just an unbelievable reach on your platform, and the only comment is from a middle schooler who just says ratioed, but it's spelled wrong.
What does ratioed mean?
It's when you have more what is it, more comments than likes?
Yeah.
I learned this recently, so yeah. It's not a good thing, I don't think.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's see. I'm going to read you guys some more information, and you guys let me know if hearing a little bit more about this article changes your mind or not. So, unlike Young, Joni Mitchell did not specifically name Mr. Rogan in her post. However, she did include a link to an open letter signed by a group of scientists and medical professionals, which criticized Spotify for hosting Rogan's podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience.
So I have a question really quick. So what is she, afraid of Joe Rogan shooters? She's just I don't want to name any names. I don't want to point any fingers, but someone on your platform has been talking about vaccine misinformation.
I'm not really
He
sure.
does have a big like wrestling fan base, right? So you know.
the MMA people coming over.
They're just like front flipping down the street to her fucking mansion. Like,
They're putting on their fingerless gloves and their spandex shorts. And they're coming for you, Joni. They're gonna beat a 80-year-old woman down.
oh my God.
Yeah, I have honestly no fucking idea who she's afraid of. But yeah, okay, so Rogan has discouraged vaccination in young people and children, incorrectly claimed that mRNA vaccines are gene therapy, promoted off-label use of ivermectin to treat COVID-19, and spread a number of unsubstantiated conspiracy theories, the authors of the open letter said. So like, knowing that Joe Rogan is like pretty actively spreading disinformation, does that in itself make you like poised in any other way and in any more of a substantial way to leave Spotify?
Not really. No.
You don't give a shit. You're like, fuck.
No.
I
It's
think
not
that,
Spotify's fault.
I think
Well, it
that
kind of is though. No, they like pay like $100. They're like, we want you, and we want to be the only ones who can have you, Joe, for $100 million. Like a year, right?
They have some
theories.
responsibility. They're in a position of power. They can host him. They're the platform. But like, does Spotify want to be in the business of moderating content? I don't know.
Isn't that their job?
Why is he the most? I don't know. I think their job is to have a platform for music and podcasts. I don't know if their job is moderating the content of it. But yeah, I don't. But who's making Joe Rogan so famous? Why are so many people listening to him?
because he's got the best vaccine misinformation out there, bro.
So that's what everyone's looking for.
Exactly. Yeah, like it's a free market, baby. All right, like Spotify.
There's too many words on CDC.gov. Let's fire up the podcast.
To me, I think it's funny that like Spotify wants to act like some moral high ground company. Like to me, that's the joke, is like all these companies wanting to like pick apart artists or kick people off their platform just because they disagree with them. Or it's like, you guys are just, you all here for the money. Like you don't have to pretend. Like, it's okay. Like we're not going to judge you. Like if you don't like it, tune out. Like that's it.
I feel like they have responsibility. Like if there was like a fucking KKK podcast, like I'd be like, yo, Spotify, take that fucking shit down. There's like for real, or like some Nazi shit, whatever.
True.
Like, I mean, I feel like you have to censor at some point. Like you can't allow like any like hate ridden, like I don't know, whatever. You can't have like what's his name, the Grand Duke or I can't remember the fucking
the Grand Duke, the Grand Wizard.
The Grand Wizard. His name's like David Duke, right?
He was. I think he was. I think he stepped down. I think he's enjoying retirement racistly.
David's gone?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
The
we wish him
KKK
well.
has really gone downhill since David left.
Yeah, I stopped sending my monthly dues, but what are they gonna do? Anyway, so
Oh my God.
Oh my fucking God, dude. Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum.
So I don't know. I do think Spotify has like some responsibility here. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know what the limit is. I mean, I kind of hate Bro Jogan for his own.
Well, there's more. There's more, right? Like, there's more to this.
There is more. Well, they had also said at least two recent guests had compared pandemic policies to the Holocaust and said misinformation was a sociologic issue of devastating proportions, and Spotify is responsible for allowing this activity to thrive on its platform.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was gonna say, like it seems to me like it's pretty easy to like draw a thread between like where people are getting information and then like the like you can like track in real time. It's like, well, like another 9/11 worths of people died today. And like it's like
God.
it's, like you like scour through their Facebook posts and they're like, you could like. You can jab me like from my cold dead hands or some sort of like NRA comparison. I don't fucking know. But like on a more cynical note, I do wonder, to like Lauren's point, I do wonder if it's just like the artists are like seeing this as like an opportunity to like protest Spotify because they're only getting like a tenth of a penny per play on their songs or something. And they're like, oh, sweet. Now I have like a moral reason to get out of here. And I'm like, boo, Joe Rogan. I fucking hate you.
I wonder if you're right, man. If like this is another one of those PR first kind of things where they're like behind this or like in front of everyone, they're like, yeah, fuck this misinformation. But behind the scenes, they're like, I'll consider coming back if you pay me 3 cents more a stream or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess Spotify already removed Young's music. Maybe they'll remove.
Did they remove it or did he remove it?
I think he removed it actually. Yeah,
I think they requested it. I think he was like, take it down, and they obliged.
They're like, sure.
I mean, dude, he's not again like he's not Neil Young, man. He's Neil old, and I don't think he knows how to work a computer. So he was like, "Will you please?"
I could have sworn I saw something where he said he didn't like Joe Rogan's stuff, but then he wanted to remove his content for another reason. But like the news got kind of merged together, and now everyone thinks he took it off because of Joe Rogan, but it's not actually because of him. Do you guys know anything about that?
I thought it was
for Joe Rogan. Yeah.
I only saw like headlines or like tweets or something, you know, but I could have sworn the timing worked out in that way, but it was actually like really for another reason that he took it off. Oh no, it was, I remember he said the audio quality was shitty. He's like, that's why I don't want, he's like the Spotify's audio quality is really shitty. So I want to take my...
That seems like backpedaling. That seems like he's getting like so much flack, and he's like, it's like the old man from The Simpsons. Like, I was saying boo earns, and he's just like, no, vaccine and what? No, that's crazy talk. Like, I just, Spotify just doesn't capture the magic of an LP. You know, that's all I was.
And what a fucking snob! Like, straight up, like everyone else seems totally fucking fine with Spotify's quality, and like this guy's just like, no, my music, it's a level above that shit. So come on, guys, handle with care. So I guess standing by your gut reactions, what do you think? How do you feel? Yeah, like I want a yes or no, a thumbs up, thumbs down. Do we support Joni Mitchell and Neil Young with their stance, this political stance against Spotify, or do we think it's too little, too late? How do we feel?
I mean, I support them because they should be able to do whatever they want. Like
that's not really why we're here, though. We're not like here like do they reserve the right to get off Spotify? It's like the reason. Like, how do we feel about the reason they're doing it?
I mean, I don't know. Everyone plays their games, and if that's the game they want to play, good for them.
This is a really great non-answer from you, Gagan. I don't exactly want to go on the record on this at all. So I'll just say in another way again, I support their decision to not be on Spotify.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And I'm sticking to it.
All right,
I know this is controversial, but
I think it's fine for them to leave because I don't think it is going to matter much to anybody. Like, I don't think it's going to hurt Spotify that much for them to be gone. So
yeah, like, to be honest, I don't know who these people are. So like, I've never like and maybe I sound really dumb. Maybe they're really famous people. That's happened a lot of times, but I don't know who these people are. I've never looked up their music. Like, I don't.
I think honestly, I don't think
I'd go check them out on Spotify, but apparently they're not there anymore.
You're like, I love that first reaction is like, Joni Mitchell, who's that? And you go on Spotify and you're like, she's not on Spotify. Maybe she's not that famous.
Probably a nobody. Maybe on Bandcamp or something. Maybe on SoundCloud.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, to your point, I never like, I've also, if I have heard a Neil Young song or a Joni Mitchell song, I'm not aware. Like, maybe if you played one, I'd be like, oh yeah, like I heard this on like 95.5 WAPE, like the big ape in like Jacksonville, Florida when I was 11.
Have you ever watched a Shrek movie?
Is she Shrek?
The parking lots. Is it? And that's not the.
Oh, that's Joni Mitchell.
Counting Crows. Yeah, Counting Crows.
They pay paradise and put up a parking lot.
That's Joni Mitchell.
Yeah,
I'm glad she's on Spotify. That song sucks.
That's Joni Mitchell. Yeah, that's Joni Mitchell. Yeah.
She's not the stand. She's not the stand by my window woman, right? Like, or come to my window. Come to my window.
No.
Okay,
that's
good.
Even newer.
So long as she's still on Spotify, I'm good.
All right, so I'm totally in the same boat with you guys. You would have to play me a song. Like Lauren telling me that's Joni Mitchell. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I've heard that song, but honestly cannot put a face to a name.
I think that like, I mean, like, I don't know. It would be really interesting to see like a bunch of like artists that like, it feels weird to say artists that matter. Like, none of them fucking matter. Like, they aren't important at all in the grand scheme of things. But like, I don't know, like Olivia Rodrigo and like Billie Eilish, or is that her name?
Eyelash.
Billie Eyelash. Okay, Billie. I was like Billie Ellis Island. That is not right. Okay, so Billie Eilish, like Olivia Rodrigo, and some of the other fan favorites of the youths today. I think if they got together and they were like, take us all off Spotify, I think I would like to see that tug of war. But like, I think two artists past their prime who have already like made their fortunes while like the other young artists are still trying to get their bag. Like, I think it's a numbers game. I think they're like, dude, I cannot afford this. Like, have you seen the price of a mansion these days? Like, I need every single quarter of a penny I can get from Spotify.
Huh. I wonder, Ian, like, since they have nothing to lose, like, I mean, like, they're gonna die soon. Like, who cares about the royalties at this point? Like, is it at least, like, on your way out, just kind of like a middle finger to, like, the Joe Rogan misinformation thing? Like, do you see that having any value? I
don't know. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like a moral, ethical question, but at the same time, it's like you have to think about your, like, next of kin, like, who survives you. Like, if I'm Joni Mitchell and, what's his name? Neil Young's kids. And I'm like, oh, Dad, fuck, man. Like, what are we going to do without how, like, what, you know, are like, how are we going to
I can't go to college because you took your songs off Spotify. Like,
yeah, I like that your concern, Ian, is with trust fund babies. You're like, what will the boomers trust fund kids do now?
Won't somebody think of the trust fund babies?
Do they have kids? Do we know if they...
I have no idea. Maybe just a collection of cats.
All right. So our next story for today, it's no secret that nobody wants to work anymore. Did you guys hear about the anti-work moderator interview on Fox? Did either of you guys hear about this or see this?
I hadn't heard about it, so you brought it to my attention.
Okay, so let me just paint a picture for you since you don't know, and for any of our listeners out there that don't. Okay, so several years ago, there was someone who started a subreddit called Anti-Work, talking about how, you know, most of our lives are basically, you know, ruled by corporations and we're tyrannized by bosses, essentially. Fast forward to 2020 and the pandemic and the Great Resignation, and suddenly people are resigning in droves. And this little tiny subreddit that, like, you know, is kind of just like a blip on the radar, all of a sudden has like 1.7 million members, encouraging each other to quit their jobs, sharing stories about like telling their bosses to go fuck themselves, sharing screenshots of like how to talk to bosses, giving information about how to protect yourself from false firings and like knowing your rights, things like that. So it becomes like this like big movement, kind of bolstering the Great Resignation, and as such, kind of gets like a lot of negative ire. So Fox News, the famous bastion of progressive ideals, reaches out to the anti-work subreddit and goes, "We would love for one of you to come on and talk to us." Okay, so the subreddit, it's run by moderators, and they go, "This is a bad idea," but one brave soul. A woman by the name of Doreen Ford goes, "No, I started this subreddit many years ago, and people deserve to know my story." So she went on to Fox News and basically got her ass beat by this interviewer by just giving the most dipshitted answers you could imagine. Didn't prepare. Did the interview after like just waking up in her fucking pajamas from her parents' basement, where she admitted that she works about 20 hours a week walking dogs and that she really wants to be a philosopher. There was a huge fallout. Now everybody is like, holy fuck, this is the face of the movement. So my question for you is, based on what you guys have heard and what I've told you, do you think like such a movement, the momentum gained from the anti-work thing, do you guys think that it can survive this like disastrous Fox News interview? Like, did Doreen give conservatives their welfare queen for like the modern day? What do you guys think?
Well, I am a subscriber to the anti-work subreddit. And I initially found it because of this amazing story of a guy who quit after he was just treated really shittily by his boss, and then like just kept like charging him more and more money to like go back to work or whatever. But that's really all I know of it. This woman going on Fox News, I mean, like that alone kind of shows her level of intelligence, I think. I don't know if she represents the entire subreddit or the entire group of people who are kind of realizing what work can be or should be over these past few years where everyone was forced to stay in.
Yeah. Lauren, what about you? What do you think?
I feel like people in the anti-work community, like, maybe shouldn't be surprised by this demonstration of like work ethic. It's in kind of the name. I'm like brand new to this concept, I will say, but just the name alone, anti-work. hell yeah, that bitch is going to be in pajamas. Yeah. That makes complete sense. Like, I don't know.
I love that. You're like, yeah, that's par for the course. Like, what else is this movement?
What did you expect?
Yeah. Like
Yes.
anti-work.
Sign me up for that, please. Yes. Yeah. Make it more acceptable.
This woman doesn't work. She's living the dream. She's fulfilling her anti-work destiny. And I mean, if anything, yes, she got her 15 minutes of fame. So what's wrong with that?
So I guess my question is, I don't know if you guys totally answer. Like, do you think the movement survives this, or like, and already it's like fractured? Like, people started a new group called Work Reform to really kind of be like, all right, like we like to Lauren's credit, like they fucked up. Like, they called themselves anti-work. They threw on Doreen, or Doreen threw herself on, basically. Like, she was like, I don't know. She thought it was a pumpkin and it was really a grenade, and she threw herself on top of it. That is not an analogy that is normal or acceptable.
Very visual, though.
Yeah, pumpkin.
So, I mean, does their movement survive? What is their movement? Is just not working ever, or because you don't get something for nothing?
I think I support the movement if it's like, let's go to 4-day work weeks, please. Yeah. Let's not value it or wrap up our entire identity in our jobs. Like, let's have fulfilling things outside of work. Like, I think I support the movement probably in some of the things that the bullet points under that. But I hope it can continue. It's going to be hard to like find some good leadership with it, maybe.
Yeah. So let me tell you guys like a little bit more about. I kind of gave you the Reader's Digest version, but okay. According to the news article, a 30-year-old dog walker who advocates for the anti-work movement went viral following her car crash interview with Fox News host Jesse Waters after she called laziness a virtue and aspired to move on from dog walking to teaching philosophy. Doreen fumbled to explain the group's ideology as Waters mocked the movement and its 1.7 million followers. Waters asked Ford what a solid workday would look like in an ideal society, prompting Doreen to proffer her own job as a dog walker as an example. I have a 20 to 25 hour work week, which I think is fairly good, she says. So I guess my question to you guys is like, what do you think? Like, what is like the ideal work week length? Like 30 hours, 35 hours? Like, if you had to like, I mean, if you're thinking 4-day work week, are you thinking like 10-hour days, or like we keep the 8-hour days and just get like an extra third day in there?
I don't know, man. I love the idea of a 4-day work week, working 6 hours a day. So that's right around that 20, 25 hour mark, man. And honestly, like, I don't know. When I work at home, I work from home. I work probably more than I ever used to before. And I don't actually, I'm a terrible example of it because I'm like one of those random people who like, actually, I kind of like my job, like in some weird, like masochistic kind of way. But you know what? I'm going to totally backtrack and just say that I think work gives people a sense of meaning like if you let it and if you allow it to. And
for some people, yeah.
Some people.
The college kid at McDonald's probably isn't deriving much meaning from it.
That's a great point. I don't know, but so I think some amount of like, even just getting home and being tired, I think is useful in some like deep primal sense. I actually really think so. Like, because I've been like basically unemployed for large periods of time. And I'll say it's like, it's kind of exhausting in this like weird, hazy, like life flies by kind of way where you're like constantly distracting yourself to just have anything meaningful happen in your life. And like in those days, like I would just go for a fucking walk and just get tired somehow. Like if I just get tired, then when I come home and I sit down, I'll at least feel like I've accomplished something because I'm sore. Like I don't have like stagnant energy just waiting for a release. So I don't know. Maybe this is like a total sidestep from your original question.
That makes a lot of sense. Like there was a period of I think around 9 months that I didn't work at all, and I felt exactly the same things. You know, like if you're, I mean, on paper it sounds really cool, right? Like no work, sit around, do whatever you want, go party, you know, do whatever, watch TV. But it gets old really fast, you know. So I think you need something to do.
I don't know. That's something I would love to have more experience with, like not working.
You're like, that was privileged fuck.
I think the longest I ever was like unemployed was like maybe 2 months. It's the longest since I've been 15. Like I would love to dip into that life for a little.
I wonder who's privileged in this situation.
I need more education, more research in this area to have an opinion.
I was thinking when you guys said this, I was thinking that like I have not been unemployed for a long period of time since I started working at like, I think 14, 15 years old. But I forgot that when I came back from Lebanon, I had, I think like from, I don't know, August until when does school vacation start for most people? It's like January, June, July. It's like June.
May for college.
Yeah. So no, it's like, yeah, then I think I had like about a 6 month, about like a 5 month stint, I think. And I totally forgot about that. And I don't know about you guys. I had a great fucking time. Like I was just bouncing around. I was like fucking around in Chicago and Miami and like Toronto.
Well, if you have money to burn.
I spent every last cent I had in a stupid way. And then I needed to get a job immediately. And I took like the first job I could find in South Korea.
Yeah, when I'm describing unemployment, I'm not describing backpacking across the North America. Okay, I'm saying like sitting on my fucking ass at home, like applying for jobs or not, whatever. But like still. But I don't know. I do think that there's a value in like some amount of work. Like I totally like I think I'm with the idea. I think it can recover. So I think the anti-work thing like can recover. I think renaming work reform, that's fucking brilliant. Like it's like how defund the police was like a brilliant, shocking concept for a lot of people, and it got people to stop and talk about it. And we're like, okay, what the fuck is this? But then when you press people on it, like even people who were like originally supporters of the name of the movement of defund the police, eventually were like, this name doesn't even work. Like people, like the common people don't even really like the idea. And I think like there's probably a similar thing here where anti-work is just a little too jarring to like a foundational concept of like, we're just too, I mean, if it's just being indoctrinated or enculturated to think that like work is meaningful, like I certainly feel like this, like, it's like the idle hands make for hairy palms. I forgot what they what
the Devil's Playground. Is that what it is? That was a great movie from the 90s, I think. Idle Hands.
That must be what I'm thinking
of.
I
mean, so it's interesting though, because Shaye, I feel like I'm inclined to agree with you. I don't know if you guys think about this as well, but I think this might just be like my personal thought. I think something else that like further is like detrimental to it, at least from like a progressive standpoint, is like not only did they find Doreen Ford, according to this, like she's also a trans woman. And I think that like they're just going to try to like lump this up into this like whole here is like everything the left represents, like identity politics, gender identity, like laziness as well. And then it was also revealed that she was a sex offender. So it's like it just keeps getting like I feel like the conservatives feel like they just struck gold. And like I wonder if, and I could be like dead wrong, but like I do wonder if like they found their poster child for what they think when they hear the word millennial. Like it's gone from snowflake to like Doreen, the dog walking philosopher. And I don't know, like, does that make it, what do you guys think of like this like extra information, these like additional details?
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
because yeah, that is like, I would imagine that's what striking gold is like for a conservative news host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that when like what's his name, Jesse Waters found out that she was going to be the guest, I think he came. I think he was like, "Fuck, I'm so hard right now."
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Yeah,
it sucks when you find out that like these ideals that you really believe in, you find out that someone else really believes in them. Like hell yeah, and then you're like, oh, that person like diddles kids. You're like, shit. It's always disappointing to know that your values align with people who do terrible things. So, I mean, yeah, how does anyone recover? It's like the bad apple spoiling the bunch.
Yeah. So I guess I know we have like, I think one more story to talk about today. So I guess I'll just ask, like, has any of this extra information moved you at all or like caused you to budge? Or are you still where you were when you started? And I told you about this breaking story.
I think work definitely overall needs reform. The like sensational like news that this interesting character was like the face of it is unfortunate, but the foundational views they have are probably sound. And I think people are just realizing kind of like work situations and standards are not ideal and that they need to be changed. But yeah, it sucks that it was represented by someone who's so easy to attack.
Yeah. And maybe it took this moment for the movement to have a moment on TV, whether it was a bad one or a good, any press is like good press. Maybe I didn't know about this movement until the story. So there's a silver lining somewhere, I think.
Great. I'm glad.
She's like drafting up her resignation letter. Like,
just like a metaphor for what you're kind of describing, Lauren. It's like I didn't know there was such a beautiful ship like the Titanic until it sank. It's like, does that help the Titanic? Not really. No. It's like, all right. Well, all right. So moving on to our next subject. So our final subject. So I guess on the topic of work. So apparently you can now rent a robot for $8 an hour to replace those pesky employees who just don't want to work anymore. So obviously we knew that automation was coming. We've been hearing it coming. We knew it was coming. We've heard about it for years. But I don't know if I ever anticipated just being like, you can rent like an hourly employee. So now there's no huge capital outlay that a business has to do. Like if there's like, I don't know, like serving tables or something. It's like instead of having a server, now you can pay a $10 serving robot that will go and bring the thing. And it has like a little iPad and you type in your order and all this stuff for, $6 an hour, for $5 an hour. It's like, oh, we don't even fucking need servers anymore. You don't have to tip the robot. So just in general, gut reaction here. You're hearing this title, you're hearing the concept. Rental robots replacing employees, good or bad?
Oof.
I'm going to say good. Okay,
I like good. All right.
Say good. I like this. More screens in my life. I don't want to chit chat with anybody. I don't want to know your name on your little tag on your shirt. Just give me a screen. Let me hit some buttons. And actually, I went to one restaurant in my life so far where that was the situation, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I mean, I love how COVID brought the QR codes, and some restaurants even have it where you can like pay for it on like through the QR code at the end. That's amazing. I'm a professional programmer, so like to think of automation it's not going to happen anytime soon. Like the idea of like a walking, iRobot, Will Smith robot coming to you and giving you your steak or whatever. Like it's functionally, it's the same as like a conveyor belt bringing it to you, right? Like the robot's not going to like pick up on the nuances of like your reactions or your requests and things like that. So, I mean, I don't think it will happen, but if it could do it well, I support it. I think the initial reaction, I think a lot of people are going to be upset and hurt, but overall I think it'll leave people to do more important tasks.
I love the idea, kind of to your point about like the Will I Am robot. What's
the I Am? What is it called?
I Am Robot.
I Am Robot. Yeah.
I Am Will I Am.
Out of like all the robot movies that have come out, I thought like that's the one that for some reason stuck in my head.
I do love the idea that like the company most behind, like most pushing for like this like highly advanced and intelligent AI robot is like Chili's or something, and they're just developing a robot that has enough nuance to like ask you how you're doing before it like recommends onion rings or something.
But can you imagine that nightmare first date of going out to a restaurant and being served by a robot, but then you have to like call technical support?
I love the idea that the robot is like so advanced it like comes to the table and is like, I am detecting many pheromones at this table. The woman is in heat. The man has half of an erection as we speak. Might I suggest the blooming onion?
So I feel like we're really harping on the restaurant idea, and I guess that's on me. I suggested that, but there's like many other applications for this, obviously, like especially in manufacturing and shit like that, or like any kind of like assembly line conveyor belt where a lot of people are doing like repetitive motions. Like maybe I know a lot of those are like super dexterous, like tactile little things. Like you need little child hands, especially malnourished children because they have especially tiny fingers, to really do the little. The detailed work there. But robots will eventually replace that. And then my concern here, and I'll be upfront with it, is like we already don't value people for just being people if they're not tied to profession. Like we think about just how we handle healthcare. Like you don't even deserve the right to be treated at a hospital if you don't have a job that gives you either money to pay for your own insurance or insurance outright. Like your worth effectively as just a healthy functioning person is tied to your work. And if we're now at a point where rental replacements exist for people, where does our inherent worth come from? Like as a culture, like the right, I think, would have you believe that, like, well, you're worthless, of course. Like, obviously, if you didn't develop the patents for the robot, go fuck yourself, right?
Well, they get jobs maintaining the robots then.
Yeah, maybe they're like cleaning the undercarriage, like, scrapping off the oil for like what, like even less than the robot's getting paid. Like you're like the robot's butler. I don't know, taking the robot. You bring the robot home to its robot apartment every night. The robot chauffeur. Like,
how was work? Like the guy's trying to conversation.
So
I would prefer just to ride in silence. Thank you.
Recharging. So. Some more information here. So Formic, the name of the company that's rolling this out, buys standard robot arms and leases them along with its own software. They're among a small but growing number of robots finding their way into workplaces on a pay-as-you-go basis. The robot
finding their way? Like, are they like applying for jobs like on the street, like looking for help wanted signs?
I think it's a little robot army. Yeah,
I love the idea that like they're bringing back the traveling salesman, but like you're peddling a robot. Like, I noticed you got a lot of human employees back there. You ever thought about renting a robot?
So the robot as employee approach could help automation spread into smaller businesses more rapidly by changing the economics. Companies such as Formic see an opportunity to build large businesses by serving many small firms. Many are mining the data they collect to help refine the products and improve customer operations. So they're basically like reproducing like how this model used to be, where you would to be one of these companies to get a robot. Like if you wanted a robot employee or whatever, you'd have to spend like $200,000 or more to like get the actual physical hardware, and then in many cases develop your own software or lease or subscribe to some other software. So it was a huge capital outlay right at the beginning. Now they're putting it in a delayed economic model that you don't have to. You'd be like $8 an hour, dude. I can't not replace this person.
Like from the standpoint of like free market economics, like I think it's a brilliant idea. Like I think that it's going to be like a boon to smaller businesses that like can't afford to fucking, like to Shaye's point, buy the $200,000 metal bending robot or something like that. But I just to Gagan's point earlier, like we know that this is going to have like devastating social impact, and it's just going to like create more talking heads talking about like freeloaders in society, and like we told you, you pieces of shit. We fucking told you you shouldn't have asked for like more money per hour. And now look at you. You're homeless and you crap on the sidewalks, and you just, I have to look at you and I hate you. Like I just feel like that's what's coming.
I think you're right. What do you think, Lauren? You think we're on the edge of like Matrix style replacement of robots for people? And
probably, and we probably should consider opening up some like almost like senior living facilities, but for like millennials instead, and just for people who are fully bodied, able, working, but cannot find any work anywhere.
I don't hate that idea.
Doreen would be first in line, or what was her name? Who went on Fox News?
Yeah,
Doreen.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Lauren, if you're talking about senior living facilities without or not just for seniors, those are just called living facilities, and I think people should have those. So I'm in full agreement with you. Especially if but you're absolutely right though, Lauren. Like think about like if we were just like, all right, robots are extremely cost effective. Like to Ian's point, they're extremely cost effective. They do things better, faster, and they free up time for other people, and they save just the overall economy and resources. Let's let them do that, and then the money that gets generated to the companies that are leasing them, let's just redistribute that money to supporting people, generally. And I guess we're going back to the work reform ideas here.
Yeah, I think this really, I mean, to me anyway, like this just signifies, I don't know if you guys would agree with this, but I think it's indicative of just like the race to the bottom. Like, I mean, like we can't not wait to like not pay people. money. And I think this just goes to highlight that. And it's funny because like news of this, I think Gagan might have just mentioned this, but like news of this and the following news of like just the disastrous anti-work interview. And like that would have been a great opportunity to talk about that. Like, like automation is coming. You can rent robots for $8 an hour, but instead we had fucking doofus Doreen talking about like, I need more dogs to walk while I read them fucking Plato and talk about the Philosopher King. So it's just like, I don't know, like it feels, it's one of those things that I read about. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I fucking hate it.
I would imagine people probably have a more emotional response to robots, right? You think robot, you think something with 2 legs, 2 arms, and like something that resembles a face. But it's like I'm not like a manufacturing expert, but obviously machines and things that have made manufacturing easier have been invented and come out over, many years. And that didn't entirely replace people. And is the robot just not another machine that helps the manufacturing process?
I can see like a conservative standpoint being like they want like a blowjob robot on every corner to like stop sex work. And just be like, it's like instead of buying a Pepsi, you can just buy a Hummer. Like,
Are you referring to Hummer as like the really antiquated way of saying a blowjob?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to have a vibration.
I was trying to make the connection between Pepsi and like the car that like Arnold Schwarzenegger drives, but I did not.
I mean, to apparently to Gagan's point, they're not going to look like humans. So I am imagining like a giant block that you just like stick your dick in, and it's got like different like rotating options. Like so.
Well, it has to have options.
It's got to have options. That's going to be a new job. Someone's going to have to clean the cum dispenser in the blowjob robot.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ian, the blowjob machines already exist. And
I know they do. Why do you think I brought that up?
They're just not on every corner.
I'm just waiting for them to become rentable. I can't afford them at the price they're at right now.
So let me just read one last bit to you and just kind of get your opinion on how you feel about this last little data point, and then see how you guys feel overall about this concept of rental robots. So it's unclear, even to economists, what impact the growing use of robots will have on the supply of jobs. Research from Darren something and Pasquale something else, economists at MIT and Boston University, respectively, suggests that the adoption of robots from 1990 to 2020 resulted in fewer jobs and lower wages overall. So knowing that it puts people out of work and the people that keep their jobs get paid less, in addition to everything else we just talked about, rental robots, good, bad? What do you think?
I still got to say it's good. It's tough. Like my own dad is a laborer, so like these kinds of robots would put him out of a job. He primarily drives for a living, so automated cars, like we've talked about this, it's gonna put him out of a job, and like so it affects me personally. But I still think overall it's probably for the benefit in the long term.
I just don't. I don't think it's preventable. I think it's gonna happen. So it's like we're gonna just have to start to learn to reconstruct our lives and what our ideas of what our valuable time and worth is going to be like, because it's not going away. I think it's just going to continue.
Yeah, so look for me on my new subreddit, Fuck Robots, which I'm going to have to change to Robots Are Bad when too many people come looking for the blowjob robot.
Are you fucking robots, or you are expressing your disdain for them?
I'm just going to try to grow the movement at first, so it'll kind of be like, it's like I'm not
whatever's more popular.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid like any purity politics. It's like, you know what, fuck it, come one, come all. Like let's grow the movement.
So many excellent puns.
Yeah, it's literally. Yes. All right. That's our show. Goodbye. Fuck off.